Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Moddasser lecturer in chemistry, Government Postgraduate College, Sawari. Today, what will be we discussed, inshallah, at the end of today's lecture, we will be able to know what is chemical equilibrium, what are its types, what are dynamic equilibrium, and how dynamic equilibrium occurs. Okay, so these are the things you will be able to know at the end of this lecture. So let's start chapter number 7. This is first year chemistry course, and chapter number 7, which is chemical equilibrium. A-E-Q-U-I-double-L. Is spelling is right, mister? Spelling is right? Yes. So this is the chapter name, which is the chemical equilibrium. So let's start. What is chemical equilibrium? Before we are going to define the chemical equilibrium, let me first explain what is a chemical reaction and what are its types. So a chemical reaction is a process. A chemical reaction is an activity. A chemical reaction is an proceeding. A chemical reaction is a process in which two substances react with one another, and as a result a new thing is formed. How? Like that. We have one substance and that is A. Okay? And we have another substance that is B. When both react with one another, so they will form what? They will form a new substance. So how we can define a chemical reaction? Let me define a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction is a process in which the two substances react with one another, and as a result a new substance is formed. So look at, I am writing a process in which two substances react. I want to divide this board. So a process in which the two substances react with one another, a process in which the two substances react with one another, and as a result a new substance is formed. You know when A reacts with B, why a new substance is formed? एक नई चीज क्यों बनती है? You know, because during a chemical reaction what happened? During a chemical reaction, a chemical change occurs. And due to that chemical change, a new substance is formed. You are seeing A and B. We have A and B, and when we react A and B, we got C. So C was not there at the beginning में शुरुआत में C नहीं था, कोई चीज हमारे पास नहीं थी C, ठीक है? हमने बनाया, क्यों बना? हमने बनाया, क्यों हम बना रहे हैं? We want C. फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक रियल मिसाल मैं आपको देता हूं, ये तो A B C में, तो आप लोग कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे. तो लेट्स my A is H2, my B is O2. When they react with one another and we got H2O, a new substance. Is there is water here? No. There is a gas, there is another gas, there is a hydrogen gas, there is an oxygen gas. But when both react with one another, as a result we got a new substance. That is a liquid, that is a completely changed from the reactors. So that is what a chemical reaction is all about. That is all regarding a chemical reaction. You must be keep this thing in mind that chemical reactions are of two types. Chemical reactions are of two types. Chemical reactions हमारे पास तो ऐसे बहुत से किस्म के होते हैं, लेकिन मेनली जो आज हम केमिकल इक्विलिब्रियम के साथ जो लिंक्ड है, तो वो हम आज आप लोगों के साथ डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि केमिकल रिएक्शन, जो केमिकल रिएक्शंस हमारे पास होते हैं, सो केमिकल रिएक्शंस और ऑफ टू टाइप्स. पहली टाइप किसी को आती है? कौन सी है? Irreversible reaction. Wow, brilliant. Irreversible. And another, that is the reversible. These are the two kinds of reactions. Okay, what is irreversible reaction? What is irreversible reaction? That reaction in which the reactants are completely changed into the product. We can also say that reaction which go to the completion. We can also say that reaction which can only move in the forward direction. These are all the definitions of irreversible reactions. I am only writing one. Those reactions, that reaction which go to the completion. That reaction which go to the completion is known as okay sir, thank you. That reaction which go to the completion is known as irreversible. irreversible reaction. That reaction which go to the completion. For example, when we have taken A and we have taken B, so A and B are used all, and as a result we got the product C. So this is a simple reaction, a reversible reaction, in which all the AB is converted into the product. That is the first type of reaction. Second type of reaction is reversible. What is reversible reaction? That reaction which do not go to the completion. Why? That reaction which do not go to the completion. Why? Because, yes, you're right.
Yeah, both.
Yes, because the product formed, they react with one another and again converted to the reactant. So at the end we got both. We have the reactants and we have the product. So the reaction do not go to the completion. For example, if I react A and B, so I will got C and D, and then C and D when formed, they react with one another and they will again reform A and B. So what will be the result? The result is that this reaction will not go to the completion at any stage. At any stage you will have reactant, and at any stage you will have the product. We can also define reversible reaction is that reaction which proceed in forward as well as in backward direction. In a backward direction. For example, when we combine H2 with I2, we will got HI, 2HI. So this is a reaction which do not go to the completion, and this reaction can proceed in the forward direction and as well as in the backward direction. So these two kind of reactions we have. Now we will be going towards our main point, our main topic. What is chemical equilibrium? That is, so what is chemical equilibrium? Let me explain that. What is chemical equilibrium? So what is chemical equilibrium? What is chemical equilibrium so we can define is that for a reversible chemical reaction क्या for a reversible chemical reactions for a reversible chemical reaction के लिए when जब क्या होता है when the rate of the forward reaction is equal to the rate of backward reaction. For a reversible chemical reaction, when the rate of the forward reaction, I have forgotten the reaction. When the rate of the forward reaction is equal to the rate of the backward reaction, so what? So we can use the term that chemical equilibrium. We can say that this system is in the state of a chemical equilibrium. We can say that that this system is in a state of chemical equilibrium. तंग तो नहीं हो रहे हैं ना? गर्मी है आज बहुत, लेकिन अगर तंग है तो मैं I will want to wind up. Okay? कैरी ऑन करूँ 4-5 मिनट के लिए. ओके? एंड कैरी ऑन. बस ये जो चीज़ रहती है डायनामिक इक्विलिब्रियम, ये मैं करता हूँ तो बस इंशाल्लाह फिर. ओके? सो फॉर अ रिवर्सिबल केमिकल रिएक्शन, यानी इस केमिकल रिएक्शन के लिए आप देखें when the rate of the forward reaction is equal to the rate of the backward reaction, we say that this chemical reaction is in a state of chemical equilibrium. We say that this is the chemical. We can use the term chemical equilibrium for this process. For this process we can use the term what? The chemical equilibrium. Now you were describing that I asked you that what is dynamic equilibrium, and you told me, sir, chemical equilibrium is a dynamic equilibrium. ये बात आपने बताई ना. Now I will explain that कि किस तरह chemical equilibrium एक dynamic equilibrium है. Okay? So मैं इधर लिख लेता हूँ कि chemical equilibrium is a dynamic equilibrium. ये एक dynamic equilibrium है. तो यहाँ पर मैं dynamic equilibrium को define करूँगा और फिर उसके बाद जो है ना ये question जो है ना ये मैं आप लोगों को explain करूँगा कि how chemical equilibrium is a dynamic equilibrium. Okay? So मैं लिख लेता हूँ आप लोगों के लिए कि chemical equilibrium is a dynamic chemical equilibrium is Chemical equilibrium is a dynamic. Chemical equilibrium is a dynamic equilibrium. Now, what is dynamic equilibrium? What is dynamic equilibrium? You know what is dynamic equilibrium? Dynamic equilibrium is when the two opposing forces occurring at the same rate. So we can use the term the dynamic equilibrium. What happens when the two opposing forces, when the two opposing forces, OPPOSING or SSING, when the two opposing forces occurring at the same rate, so we can use the term, we can use the dynamic. We were discussing the dynamic equilibrium. What is the dynamic equilibrium? When the two opposing forces occurring at the same rate. So we can say that this system or this process is in a dynamic equilibrium. Equilibrium हम उस स्टेट को बोलते हैं when there is no change in the concentration of the reactant and the product. Our dynamic mean in motion. Dynamic equilibrium is the term used when the two opposing forces are occurring at the same rate and there is no change in the concentration of the reactant and the product. You got my point? What I am saying, when the two opposing forces occurring at the same rate such that there is no change when the two opposing forces occurring at the same rate and such that there is no change in the concentration of the reactant and the product. For example, we have two processes. One process is take water. मैंने water ले लिया है, water. H2O liquid मैंने ले लिया है और गर्मी है ना, गर्मी. तो ये गर्मी में क्या होता है इसके साथ? गर्मी में what happened to H2O in a high temperature? When we increase the temperature of water, what will happen? It boils, it evaporates. Okay, so it converted into the vapor, gaseous state, vapor phase. So this is the evaporation process. This is the evaporation process. And what happened In the reverse direction, the gaseous water, the vapors of water, they are converting back into the water. They are converting back into the water. So what we call that process? That process is called condensation. When these two reverse processes, they are occurring at the same rate and there is no change in the concentration of the liquid and there is no change in the concentration of this gaseous vapor. How there will be no change? For example, if I say I have at equilibrium state, I have 20 molecules of at equilibrium state, at dynamic equilibrium, I have 20 molecules of water. And equilibrium state, I have only 10 molecules of gaseous water. So what will happen? In the evaporation, during evaporation, what happened? 5 molecules of water is converting into this. So what happened? It makes 15. In the reverse, what will happen? In condensation, 5 molecules are also converting at the same time. 5 molecules are converting back to the water. So there occurs no change in the concentration. 5 are converting into the gaseous state and at the same time 5 are reconverting into the liquid form. So this is the dynamic in motion, equilibrium in motion, dynamism. ये वर्ड आप लोगों ने फिजिक्स में सुना है, dynamic. So dynamic equilibrium is when the two opposing forces. So my last point, I'm just finishing my lecture. Okay, it's enough for today. What I told you, देखें, dynamic equilibrium बस forces के लिए two opposing forces के लिए यूज होता है. Whether the two opposing forces are processes, opposing ये एक चीज इधर मैंने जो है ना गलत लिखी है, ठीक कर दूं. Two opposing reaction are processes. Yes, processes. When the two opposing processes are occurring at the same rate, this is evaporation is a process, condensation is a process. Okay, so in dynamic equilibrium is a general term used for the chemical processes as well as I am writing. So dynamic equilibrium can be found in chemical processes also. And then the physical processes also. So so a chemical equilibrium में क्या होता है? एक chemical process जो है ना equilibrium में होता है, तो इसलिए इसको हम बोलते हैं ये chemical ये जो equilibrium है, it is a type of dynamic equilibrium. So ये dynamic equilibrium में आता है और ये physical process है. ये this is a physical process. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for being with me. Keep one thing in mind. If you want to learn the real chemistry, Do not forget to subscribe to my channel, Advanced Level Chemistry with Moddasser. Thank you very much.